We're joined now by head coach Dan Mullen. We'll ask Coach Mullen to make an opening statement, and then we will take questions. Coach Mullen.
Our team obviously very excited for this opportunity to go play in the championship game. Haven't been there on several occasions before. As a coach, the environment, the stage you're on, competing for a championship at the best conference of college football is a great opportunity, and I know we're excited for this chance, this opportunity, and the opportunity to go play a great team in Alabama.
Thank you, Coach Mullen. At this time, if you have a question, please raise your hand virtually, and we will be identified, and your line will be unmuted. As a reminder, please provide your name and affiliation prior to the question. Our first question will be with Paul Newberry. Paul?
Might have to unmute yourself there, Paul.
Oh, there we go. You have to do it twice, I see. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Go ahead, Paul.
Okay, good. Thanks, Coach. I just wanted to ask you, obviously, since Nick Saban took over at Alabama, an incredibly dominating run in such a tough conference. Just what's it like to go against him as long as you have? And obviously, a lot of coaches haven't survived in this the Saban era. What's it like to go against him, and what's it going to take to sort of maybe bring him down, or at least make the conference a little more competitive?
Well, I think, he's done a great job of building the program. They do a really good job with a great recruiting base, getting really good players. They've obviously, everything you know about him, they've built the program around what he believes in. And you look, they've put the resources in behind it, with the stadium, with their football facilities, with their staffing. And it's paid off. It's paid off for them, the university, and they do a great job. They run a great football program. I guess I've survived because I'm still here. But the to get there, I don't know that it is knock them off or replace them. I don't know that they're going to go anywhere. It's the opportunity to go compete with them and get up to their level and be competitive with them year in and year out is the goal, more than trying to say that they're going to disappear. You want to just get up to their level and go compete on the same level as they are, and then go compete with them on a yearly basis.
Again, please hit the raise your hand button. We'll now go to Jeff Spiegel. Jeff? All right, we'll now go to Ren Wallace. Ren?
That's some unmuting issues, huh?
Can you hear me, Coach?
There we go.
Coach Ron Wallace from Ballin' Down South. I just wanted to know, and I wanted to ask you last week on the other conference call, but how are you able to get your players to zone back in, after a loss, and just get them to be on the same page with you? How do you get them to come out and play for you each and every night, and also this upcoming weekend?
Well, the competitiveness edge of these guys, we have competitive guys, and each week is a new opportunity and a new challenge in itself. So, whatever happens the week before, you can enjoy that on a Saturday night, or you can be upset on a Saturday night, one or the other. But on Sunday morning, none of that really matters anymore. You're back to work, you're back on to the next week, and back on to the next challenge. And, so I think that's kind of the easier. It might sound like kind of a coach talk deal, but there's reality when you're a competitor to that. You're on to the next one, because win or lose, you want to win the next one. I'll be honest with you. Saturday night, we're either going to be really celebrating in our locker room, happy celebrating in our locker room, or we'll be sad in our locker room. And Sunday morning, we're on to the next one. And that's just that's how it is. And that's what you do as a competitor.
Coach, we will now go to Cassidy Hill of Gator Magazine. Cassidy?
Hey, Dan. How's it going?
Great.
How much will this game be a litmus test for where you are as a program?
I don't know if one game ever judges. The fact that we're in this game, I think this year, of going through this season and getting to this game is a bigger test than than one game. I mean, we come here to build a program. You want to consistently compete for championships. So the fact that we got here shows that we can get here. And then, with the program it's going to be a bigger test of are you there for consecutive years or multiple years, or how often you get there. That's kind of the judge in the program. You know what? I mean, you come out there, whatever the result of the program is, I don't think judges, whatever the result of the game is, doesn't have a lot to say completely about the program. We still got a lot of work to do with building the program to the consistent level we want to go do it, and do it over a long period of time. And, a win on Saturday night doesn't mean we've arrived in any way, shape, or form.
All right, we'll go back and try Mark Long. Mark, question for Coach.
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Mark.
You don't have many holes in your head coaching resume, but beating Alabama and Nick is one of them, 0-9, came close in 14 and 17. How much do you relish the opportunity to match wits with him and maybe even get one of those wins?
That'd be huge. Like you said, at Mississippi State, we had a couple times we're right there, had opportunities, to win in close games with them. Weren't able to pull it out in the time at Mississippi State. It was our first time playing them here at Florida. But, hey, you know what? It'd be great. I don't view it in terms of that. I view it, it'd be great is in terms of this year's team for us to go win an SEC championship. Would be really special for all the work that these guys have put in over the course of this year.
Coach, we'll now go to Gene Fournette. Gene?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Go ahead, Gene.
Hey, Dan. Listen, I know you were in your first year at Mississippi State, the year that Bama beat Florida in the SEC title game that sort of launched the Bama dynasty under Nick. Did you ever, looking back at that game, and I'm sure you probably watched it on TV, did you ever imagine that game would be such a landscape-changing game for not only for Florida but for Alabama as well?
Well, who knows? I would have said it was really the year before that. In the 2008 championship game, I think they were the number one team. Florida was number two that year. I would say that more started the run for them of being, a consistent program and getting there on a consistent basis to go compete for championships. So, like I said, I think, you could go back even the year before that they got the opportunity to go play in the game. Even though I think, I know I was there, Florida won that game. I think that was kind of the launch point of their consistency and their consistent performance of opportunities. I know, obviously they haven't been there every year, and since they've missed several of them. But, when you look and you identify programs, like I always say, it's the consistency of doing it. It's not, I was there once, twice, three times. It's the consistency of your opportunity to go compete for championships.
Again, if you have a question, we'll use the raise the hand function. We'll go to Steve Milton, WZZN. Steve.
Hey, Coach. Appreciate the time. Steve Moulton, WZZN. If you could, talk about the week of practice and Kyle Pitts in particular. How has the week of practice gone, Coach?
It's gone pretty good. I think, I really like the energy our guys have had this week. I want to say probably this has been a long season, a big grind. We've been down, I think, so many players at different times during the year. So it's been a challenge, but I will say I think the energy level of practice is the highest it's been in quite a while this week, and I think that's just the excitement the guys have, the opportunity to go play in this game. Kyle's had a great week of practice. We'll see. Hopefully he's able to play. Hopefully he's able to get cleared to play on Saturday.
All right, Coach, we'll go to Nick Delatorre. Nick, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. Can you hear me?
Yep, I gotcha.
Nick Delatorre, Gators territory. I was going to ask about Kyle, but also just Jeremiah Moon and Sean Davis. How are those guys progressing with their injuries, and will they be available Saturday?
Yeah, they're working hard to get back out there, and we'll know on Saturday who'll be available for us. But those guys have been working hard to try to recover and get back. So, like you said, we've had a lot of guys banged up this year, with it being a long season, and but that's a normal thing. I guess this year is probably a little bit different than other years with everything going on, but But that's just where you're at. So, I mean, those guys have been working hard to try to get themselves ready for Saturday.
In those with questions, you can hit the raise your hand function on your screen, and we'll go back to Cassidy Hill. Cassidy?
Hey, Dan, yeah, I had a follow-up. Usually you hear defensive guys say we want to make the quarterback beat us with his arm. That sounds like something you don't want to do with Mac Jones. So, especially with just some different issues in the secondary, how much more important will it be Saturday night for that front seven, Kyrie, Brenton Cox, to get in there and really just kind of fluster Jones?
Well, I think always. I mean, what you don't want to do is let a quarterback, basically play 7-on-7. And, I mean, it's you go watch. There's a lot of quarterbacks. It makes life a little bit easier when no one's touching you. So up front, it's important to kind of try to change up the looks, and but you got on them on the back end. But you got to get pressure up front. To not let them just kind of stand back there with, we can't let him just stand back there and have all day to just kind of take his time, go through every read, get to the fourth, fifth progressions in reads. You got to get after the quarterback a little bit and get him out of rhythm early in the game.
Coach, we'll go back to Steve Mullen at WZZN.
Yes, Coach. We've talked about you facing Coach Saban-led teams for a number of years, but I am curious of just this defense of just facing a Nick Saban defense. What are some characteristics that you've seen over the years, and maybe how does this defense compare to ones you've already played against in the past, Coach?
I got to think. We haven't played them in 3 years, so. Right, I think the last time we played them was 2017. Trying to think of that defense, but I don't know. I think generally when you see them, I think they do a really good job. Very sound schematically. I think obviously, Nick's an excellent defensive coach. They have a good scheme. They know the scheme inside and out. Does a good job of putting players in position to make plays. Gives you multiple looks. Will change the looks up front with the different fronts. But being a 3-down and a 4-down team. He has several different nickel and dime blitz packages that they put together that cause you great challenges back there. And then obviously they always have a ton of talented guys, and they got talent on every level, talent in the front linebacker and on the secondary. So I mean, every time you're going to play them, I mean, it's always a great challenge when you play them defensively.
And if you have a question, use the raise the hand function. We'll go back now to Gene Fournette. Gene?
Yeah, Dan, you were the one that told us early on in the season how much you felt offenses would be ahead of defenses this year in the SEC. When you look at Alabama's defense this year, how different is that defense from what you've seen on tape, let's say September, maybe early October, versus the defense that you see now?
Yeah, I think, I think I was pretty right on early in the season. I think everybody sees that now that you're pretty right on with it. But it is. I think you're looking at guys that are just more into football mode. They're more comfortable with what's going on. They're comfortable with the schemes, all the different pattern reads that they do, putting themselves in position. And then the big one is guys being comfortable tackling, where you probably didn't you didn't get as much of that as you normally would, and now you kind of get yourself into game mode. So I think they're playing at a much higher level now than they did earlier in the year.
Coach, we'll go next to Mark Long. Mark, go ahead.
Hey, Dan, yeah, listening to your players this week, it's been pretty clear that you guys have them understanding the importance of this game. Has that been really a big point of emphasis a week, was to get them to maybe refocus and understand that, hey, even though some things may not be dangling there, there's still, this game is absolutely huge in terms of career projection, all that stuff?
Well, I think this game is such a big game. Having played in it before, I think you realize that the stage that it's on and the scene that it is in Atlanta for the SEC championship game is such a big deal. And probably, like I said, maybe with the exception of the national championship game and now the playoffs, but even before, I mean, this was always the biggest game of the year in college football. And so the opportunity to go out there, play, I think you got to go out there, enjoy the moment. You got to be a guy that wants to play in big games and be on big stages. And, I know our guys do. And so I think that's where the excitement comes from, is these guys, they've worked for this opportunity and they want the opportunity to go play on this stage.
We have a few more minutes with Coach Mullen. If you have a question, please use the raised hand function. We'll go back to Steve Mullen. Steve? Sorry about that. Here we go, Steve.
All right. Okay. Coach, with the National Signing Day in the rearview mirror, getting ready for an SEC championship game, no less, how difficult was that to juggle this week?
It was different. I'll tell you that. It was different. Your mind racing. You're not getting a whole lot of sleep. Just trying to go through every scenario. I was talking to one of the guys, one of my friends, in the NFL, and I said, hey, imagine playing like the NFC Championship game, the week of the draft, and like, you got to be kidding me. And so it was a unique challenge this year, but this year has brought so many different unique challenges, and I think it's just you've kind of learned to adjust to them, find the best way to adjust, maybe try to create new ways to think, and sometimes just kind of work your tail off, and I guess maybe we were able to get a little bit more sleep when we were shut down and last spring than you normally would with missing spring practice, and we're making up for that time now of not getting any of it and making sure you're prepared to get everything done.
Go now, Coach, to Nick De La Torre. Nick?
Hey, Coach, you talked about just the magnitude of this game. Obviously, Alabama's been there a bunch. How do you handle your guys? Is it like through walkthrough on Friday or on Saturday morning and just like, hey, take it in now, be nervous now, and not kind of get lost in the moment of how big the stage is?
We're going to do our regular routine. These guys came to Florida to play in this game, so we've talked about make sure you enjoy it, but we're enjoy the atmosphere, enjoy the experience, but understand this is why you came here, not just to play in this game, to go win this game. So. That's been our approach all week of very regular game week, and but make sure you enjoy it, but understand that the purpose is we're here to win the game.
We'll now go to David Waters of WJXT. Go ahead, David.
Coach, you had a shuffle on the offensive line last week. Is that something that continues in prep for Alabama this late in the season?
Oh yeah. It would happen because we had a bunch of injuries. So we had injuries, and that hurt our depth. And now that our depth's back a little bit, we're a little bit healthier on the offensive line. It allows us to do that.
Okay, Coach. We'll go back to Cassidy Hill. Cassidy.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Go ahead, Cassidy.
Were you surprised at all that you only dropped one spot to number 7 in the playoff poll, or do you think that was a testament to playing all the games, which is something you had talked about before?
I'm not in the room, so that'd be a question for all of them. I think, I think it showed respect for us and for this league, and the qualities of the opponents in this league, and the grind and the demand of playing a 10. This is our 11th SEC game in a season. I think that's certainly a challenge, and there's other conferences haven't been through that. So that would be my guess, or my guess of it. I'm not on the committee, so that'd be a question for them. But I think it shows some of the respect for the guys, going out there and trying to play. Obviously, I'm not knocking other teams or other schools, but a team that is played, on game number 6 or game number 7 is going to be fresher, healthier. At this late in the season, probably have more depth and be, than a team that's on game 11 that, is trying to have to walk through early in the week because guys aren't ready, guys are banged up. You're trying to keep everybody healthy. So, I think everybody that knows the game of football understands that. People that really know the game of football understand that, and that would be my guess. I don't know. That'd be a question for the committee.
All right, we'll go back to Gene Fournette. Gene?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Could you, obviously, a 2-loss team has never, can you hear me?
I got you.
Okay. A 2-loss team has never made the college football playoff. and obviously with your second loss, but if you go ahead and win the SEC title, do you feel like there should be any question about whether you should be in the playoff, even though it would be unprecedented for a two-loss team to get there?
We'll think about that on Saturday night after we win. I think LSU made it in there when there was only 2 teams with 2 losses. So, if I'm not mistaken, does that sound about right? Back in one of those years with the BCS. So, I thought they had 2 losses and made it. Maybe I'm off on that one. So, but let's see. We'll worry about winning on Saturday night because that's all we can control. And and what happens after that, we'll see what happens next.
And Coach, we'll go back to Ren Wallace. Ren?
Coach, this is Ron Wallace with Balling Down South. Just before I ask you this question, good luck this weekend.
Well, thank you.
How will you expect your defense to match up against that offense at Alabama?
Well, I mean, you got to be sound. You got to be assignment sound. They got a lot of weapons all over the field. They got weapons in the pass game. They got weapons in the run game, and so you got to be sound, understand your scheme, and then you got to have 11 guys running the ball as hard as you can every single play. They're going to make plays. You just you can't worry about the play before. You just worry about the next play and being sound on that next play. And force them to have to execute for an entire game.
Okay, we'll go back to Steve Moulton. Steve?
Coach, you mentioned strength of schedule earlier in the season on being an important factor in a team's ranking. With that being said, does the SEC champion deserve to be in the Final Four?
But it'd be hard to say that the SEC champion doesn't. I mean, this is our 3rd top 10 game of the year. This is Alabama's 3rd top 10 game of the year. Off current rankings, and so I don't know other people that have on game number 3 of top 10 teams and in other leagues. So I guess it'd be hard to say, but again, I'm not on the committee, so that would be a question for them.
We'll go back to Cassidy. Cassidy, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize my hand was still up. Actually, I do have a question, though. I got something. Your first season, we saw some new looks when you got to that Peach Bowl versus Michigan. Some like the jet sweeps with KT that we've not really seen before, but are now a staple. Without giving away your game plan, is Saturday an opportunity to really sort of open the playbook up and show stuff that nobody has maybe seen before on tape?
Yeah, we're going to go back and I'm going back, kind of put in some of the wishbone stuff we did back in 2010.
You promised that the other day and didn't do it.
I got to keep you on your toes. So, no, I mean, I think sometimes when you have a bowl game, you have a little bit more time to kind of prepare and experiment with some new things. And some of those are things you're looking at long-term into the future. Because, in a normal year in a bowl game, a lot of times you have 4 weeks to prepare. So you kind of, part of your practice is experimenting of things you want to look at into the future, and then you incorporate them to get a look at them into a game. So this has been much more of just a regular game week.
Coach Mullen, thank you for joining us today. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Go Gators.